Hello everyone and welcome to Unwine with Janet. Today I'll be making for you a very healthy, super quick and a very easy recipe that can be enjoyed as a part of your breakfast, lunch or your dinner. I'll be making for you steamed cabbage and saltfish, or otherwise known as codfish, but I'm going to do it the Jamaican way. You can enjoy it with either hard-dough bread, white rice, boiled green bananas, or even by itself. It is so flexible, the list goes on and on. I'm so eager to share it with you. So come let me show you how we do it. Welcome back to my channel. Now, to make the best homemade steamed cabbage and saltfish dish, we're going to need some green cabbage. Now I will only be using a half of this, as well as saltfish, onion, tomato, bell pepper, garlic and scallion, as well as some chili flakes, low sodium seasoning salt, some oregano and black pepper, julienne carrots, garlic powder and onion powder, and also some solidified coconut oil. So now that we've gotten everything together, before you actually start chopping your cabbage, you want to give it a good rinse, and you're going to rinse it even after you have it all chopped up. So once you cut it in half, I have two ways in which I do mine. I would cut it in half again, and then I will cut what I call the heart. So I'll cut that out, and then I will just chop it up. Whenever you're steaming or frying cabbage, you do not have to shred it like fine, because it's gonna wilt. Once the steam hits it, then it's gonna shrink. So you don't have to worry about cutting it too fine, or if it's too large, you'll be fine. And then the other method is I will just leave everything intact and then just cut around the heart and throw the heart out. But you let me know, do you include the heart whenever you're cooking your cabbage, or do you throw it out? And is there another name for it that I don't know of? Let me know in the comments below. Just by working with cabbage, I've learned so much. There are hundreds of different cabbage variety, but the main three are the green cabbage, the red cabbage, and the Savoy cabbage. And believe me, they're all packed with nutrients to help protect our bodies against different types of diseases. Now, after you're through chopping your cabbage and rinsing it in some salt water, in a heated skillet, you're gonna melt, if your coconut oil is not melted, you wanna melt it, and then you're gonna saute all your vegetables. And you can let them saute for about 2 to 3 minutes or until translucent. Now, two of the reasons why you will always find cabbage in my refrigerator, number one is because it is so easy to prepare, and then the other reason is because it is so flexible. So for example, if I'm cooking cabbage with, say, saltfish, then I can always add pak choy, or there are times I might add spinach to it. Also in Jamaica, we also add corned beef, or we call it bully beef, but I guess worldwide it is known as corned beef. That's another substitute. If you do not want to use the saltfish, you can always use the corned beef. And we normally eat it with rice, or if you have ground provision like yam or banana or anything like that, then you can also combine it with that. But those are the reasons you always want to have a head of cabbage in your refrigerator, because you can mix it with just about any and everything. Also, if you have leftovers, say for example you had chicken on Sunday and you had leftover chicken that you might want to use, you just dice it up fine, and then you can combine that with the cabbage. And there are so many more ways in which cabbage can be prepared and enjoyed. As you can see, I've added just a pinch of salt to the sauteing vegetables, and this is because salt always brings out the flavor in just about any and everything. So this has been sauteing for about 3 minutes. So now I'm going to add the cabbage. Now you have to be very, very careful when you're adding the cabbage, because as you can tell, I'm making a mess already. So once the cabbage is added, and don't worry about how full it looks, because it's all gonna shrink when the lid goes on and then when the steam comes in. After that, I'm gonna add my saltfish, otherwise known as codfish, to the top. There are people who've added it to the sauteing vegetables, and that's okay. But I always add it to the top of the cabbage. And after that, I'm just gonna add all my powdered seasoning on top. I'm sure by now you can see how easy this has been so far, right? I also want to point out how I prepared the saltfish. In case there's a video that I did with ackee and saltfish, there's a step-by-step process of how I prepared the saltfish. I did basically boil it for 5 minutes at a time. I boiled it twice to get the excess salt off it, and then I rinse it with some cold water and then pick it up or get it shredded. That's basically what I did with the sausage before I add it to the cabbage. Now after all my dry seasoning, and I've also put the thyme on it, is all there, I cover and I let this cook about 3 to 4 minutes on low heat. After it has been cooked for that time, I'll take the lid off and combine everything. You want to make sure that everything is properly stirred and combined, because you do not want anything to burn or to get stuck to the bottom of the skillet. Now if you realize earlier on I did not add any water, but now I am, because it has started drying out and I want to make the perfect cabbage and saltfish. So once the water is added, cover it, let it cook for another 4 minutes. Now this is what it should look like when it's finished. It's not too soft, and I've cooked it until it's al dente. Now if you want to cook it a little bit longer until it's a bit softer, then you can. This easy homemade cabbage and saltfish can be enjoyed as a sandwich or with rice, or if you have yam or banana or dumpling, just about anything. So enjoy. So go ahead and give it a try and let me know how it turned out. Leave your comments in the comment box. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss next week's video. What good? Till me see you next time, alright?